Ooh, boy, there's a lot to like after that Celtics win in Charlotte, especially that defense. How good was that? And I'm ready to declare it. This team is ready to go to the NBA Finals. We'll talk about it right now in the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, keep John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast. I want to thank you for making this show part of your daily routine. I'm here for you Monday through Friday. The podcast is free. The podcast is fresh. Podcast will go bonus like next week when they play the Miami Heat on Friday night. Definitely getting a post-game podcast. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. Also on YouTube, get into the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm John Karalis. If you're new to this program, I used to play ball a long time ago. Now I cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. By the way, just so you all know, the podcast and Boston Sports Journal, my coverage there kind of goes hand in hand. Right now, we're running a promotion on Boston Sports Journal. It's free for the next week, 9 days actually. And then after that, use code Celtics23 Celtics23 at Boston Sports Journal. You get 20% off the annual plan. That gets you about $30, $40 for a year worth of Celtics coverage. This is the year to do it. Some of the things I say on the podcast end up in Boston Sports Journal. I end up expanding on it. Like yesterday, I talked about the Jayson Tatum post-ups. Well, I went and wrote about it on Boston Sports Journal, and you get video proof, video evidence, and the breakdown of all of the things that I can't really do on the podcast. So just letting you know, if you want my coverage at Boston Sports Journal, go subscribe there as well. That kind of enhances both my writing and my podcast. It's better together. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. It's the Reese's peanut butter cup. If you like peanut butter, sure, have one. If you like chocolate, sure, have the other. But man, they're so good together. The Celtics dominated the Charlotte Hornets, okay? Now, I'm not so worried about the final score, which was 127-99. What I am mostly concerned about is 22 steals. That defense was amazing. Absolutely incredible. That was one of the best performances I've seen out of the Celtics in a long time. And I know it's a preseason game, right? But Charlotte was playing their real players. And I think that's what makes me so kind of excited about what I saw in this game. So I'm doing the new format here. Things I like, things I didn't like, and things that make me go, The dislike and the stuff kind of goes into the last segment because there's not much to I put rebounding. If you're watching on the YouTube page, I got rebounding over here, but it's a very minor quibble. It's not even like a huge dislike. It's a minor thing. In the Bigs minutes, I don't even think there's much to read into that. So the first two segments is just flat out gushing. It's a Friday for you. You've gone through this long week. You don't want me to be negative, and there's really nothing to be negative about. This team, in fact, let me start here. Let me just start with this. Having been around this team now for a few weeks, right? This whole month, talking to some of the people around the team, conversations that aren't like reportable, but just having conversations. The sense that I get, the feeling that I get from this team is different. The way I see them playing, the way I see certain guys playing, it's different. There's something different about this team. And the simplest way I can put it is they've gone from a team that can win a championship, which they have been over the past few years. They've been a team that could win a championship for a little while now. Now they're a team that should win a championship. This Celtics team should win. And you can say the same thing about the Denver Nuggets. They probably should repeat, but they've got, a couple of losses. They've some minor questions there. They still got Jokic. They're still awesome. But Milwaukee can sit there and say, we should win a championship. Boston can say the same thing. Boston should win a championship. Now, only one of the three shoulds actually will. Phoenix. So 4 shoulds. One of those teams actually will. And there's going to be 3 teams that were like, man, we should have won it, but we couldn't. Boston is firmly in that group. And maybe the best of all of them. The attitude on this team is different. You hear about the practices that are like super intense practices. Jayson Tatum said, I can't say the actual word, but like he said, practices have been hard as hell. He says that unequivocally. I was talking to Al Horford because I shared on this podcast. I said, man, it looks like Al came into this preseason a little lighter. And I just kind of theorized Al's a little lighter. He's probably getting ready for a season basically out on the perimeter. And he's like, I asked him about it. He's like, nah, we're just running a lot. So he looks like, I think he might have lost a couple of pounds coming into camp because they're running so much. It's just a different kind of attitude. I've talked about how they're doing a lot more 5-on-5, a lot more team-oriented stuff versus individual-oriented stuff. I think Joe Mazzulla, sorry haters, I think Joe Mazzulla has actually got this group really humming right now in the preseason. I think he's got them on the right path. He's got them starting in the right spot. The attitude is right. And you throw into the mix Kristaps Porzingis, who just adds an element to this group it's just unbelievable. It's just an unbelievable element. And I have to apologize. I've said it before. I have to apologize to Brad Stevens for even questioning the fact that this is why I'm here doing a podcast and he's getting paid to run an NBA team. He knows what he's talking about. Any questions that I had about the Porzingis deal, those are out the window. Any questions I had about the Jrue Holiday deal, those are out the window. This team works. It works together. This group works. You hear people talking about Holiday and how he is in practices. Their eyes light up. They're like, whoo, let me tell you something about this Pitbull in practice. It's just different here now. You see Jayson Tatum, how he played in this game against Charlotte, how he played in the last game. The post-ups, the way he's attacking, the type of contact that he's trying to get, the plays that he's looking to execute. The way he's playing defensively. Oh, my God. Just go down the whole box score. Jaylen Brown had an amazing night. And it's like the third biggest storyline of this preseason game. JB, 20 points, 4 of 5 from 3, 8 of 12. He's the only dude that was hitting from 3 at all, except for Sam Hauser hit a couple. But he's the only dude that was hot from 3. The Celtics were not hot from 3 in this game. But this is one of the most encouraging things that I've seen in a long time from this group. They shot 31% from 3, and they put up 127 points. How does this Celtics team shoot 31%? 31% was the death knell for them. And Charlotte is bad. Charlotte's a bad team. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. They're probably not going to make the play. They might make the play-in, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. So I understand, take it with a grain of salt, but still 127 points, 22 steals. They forced 24 turnovers, 22 steals. They played amazing. No letdowns. Didn't play down to the competition. Didn't back off when the shooting was an issue. Didn't let the missed shots affect their defense. It's like one of the biggest indicators of this Celtics team. It's like one of the biggest habits that they have. Missed shots lead to poor defense, and it didn't in this game. And not that I'm reacting to one specific preseason game. That would be I'd be a lunatic to do that. But when you take all of training camp and you see the signs, and then you see the last preseason game, you know they're putting it all together. Like, all right, let's make this, let's go real hard. Let's make this a regular season game. And they do this. They do this to a bad. This is what you should be doing to bad teams. And I'm sold. The Celtics are firmly in should win a championship territory. That's where they are. They are in should win a championship territory. So I'm saying, go ahead, do it. If this is, plan your June accordingly. Go to Boston Sports Journal. I laid out all the dates for the finals. Those finals dates are already set. So plan ahead. If you want to go to FanDuel and bet on the Celtics winning it all, go for it. Go for it, because FanDuel is America's #1 sports book, and they have got you covered for everything you want. Basketball, football, whatever you want, any sport. And right now, if you're new, you get $200 in bonus bets no matter what. All you got to do is bet $5. $5 on whatever you want. Spreads, player props, over-unders. You want to put Celtics over on their win total 54.5. I'm ready to make that bet right now. You just bet $5. You get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. All you have to do, go visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and get yourself started. Set up the account, FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel is an official partner of the NFL, the NBA. Just ask you if you're going to do it. Please gamble responsibly. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Make sure you're subscribed. We're available everywhere podcasts exist. So whatever app you use, open it up. If you're listening right now on an audio, just hit the subscribe button. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, get notified, ring the bell. Whenever I drop a video, you'll get notified. Shout out to all the people who are like hopping into the comment section right away. As soon as I post it, like I know I just hit publish. I go 1001, 1002, 1003, refresh. There are comments there already. The regulars, the everydayers, love you all for doing that. Let's get more into what I like about this game against the Charlotte Hornets. It's the defense was just, stifling. The fact that they were so smothering, the full court defense, that is going to be something that we see. That's the wrinkle. That's the big thing. I mentioned the zone before. Somebody in the comments was like, yeah, ask Joe to tip his hand. Yeah, well, I want to see it. I want to see it. Of course, I want to see it. I want to see it when I evaluate it. This isn't the NFL, right? You play a zone and people aren't going to like go running around like their hair's on fire. Like, oh my God, the Celtics played a zone. They never play zone. It might work for a little stretch, but then you call a timeout. You say, hey, by the way, they're playing a zone, and you adjust. But I want to see the wrinkles. But regardless, the full court stuff, the full court defense, the blocked shots, Derrick White, another 3 blocked shots, amazing. The traps, Jrue Holiday, just really asserting himself and starting a very fast pace kind of style of play. These guys want to get up and down the floor, and they put up 105 shots. That's incredible. You could look at the box score and just say one team got 105 shots, the other team got 88. And I can tell you the team that got 105 shots, just field goal attempts, probably won the game, because it's impossible, almost impossible, to take, 17 more shots and not win, just flat out win. Now, add to that the fact that you get 32 points off turnovers. The Celtics won by 28. You're always going to have some amount of points off turnovers. But if you're Charlotte, you're like, oh my God, the entire deficit is just points off of turnovers. Limit your steals, your live ball turnovers, and maybe you're in this game late in the fourth quarter and you have to get through some execution to maybe win this game. But no. 24 turnovers, 22 steals. If this was a regular season game, that would be a team record. It's not a regular season game, so it doesn't count. So the Celtics record is still 21, but that's just amazing basketball. And like I said before, the fact that the Celtics were able to win without their shots falling is important to me. The fact that they came out in the third quarter and built their lead is important to me. That stuff matters because when the Celtics normally don't shoot well, they stop playing defense. When the Celtics normally are up big at the half, they come out and play soft in the third quarter. They did neither of those things. That is a sign of growth. The Celtics, I think, have grown. Whatever it is, whether they realize that, oh, this is what it takes to win, or all of the things that were distracting them and got in the way of what it takes to win, whether that stuff is gone, whatever it is, the Celtics are here. And I'm not going to discount the fact that they've got Holiday and Sam Cassell and guys who actually had to go win and earn their championships and not ride LeBron James to a title and just pretend that made them authorities. Holiday had to work his butt off to get a championship. Sam Cassell worked his butt off to get a championship. 2 championships. I think the mentality here is right. And you see it. I love the way Jayson Tatum has been playing. I love the way Jayson Tatum is playing. I love the way Derrick White has been playing. Payton Pritchard, I know I've been tough on him. I know I'm generally tough on Pritchard. But I have to say, this preseason has been great. And even though I had the hot take, which is, when you say it's a hot take, it's a little bit of an exaggerated take. And I don't think he's going to have like big monster numbers in the regular season just by virtue of the role he's going to play. But I'm going to be honest and fair to Payton Pritchard. He has had an incredible preseason, and he's showing a lot of things that we haven't seen from him. The pass in the third quarter where he runs a pick and roll on basically above the break on the right side, and he finds Sam Hauser in the left corner for a three-pointer. An amazing play, an amazing pass. The big looping pass to get it to the corner, incredible. And then like a couple minutes later or a minute later, not even, he runs a pick and roll with Nemaesh Keita, and he slows down. He gets Terry Rozier kind of like going up his back. So you really take that guy out of the play. When you turn the corner and the guy's trailing you and you stop and kind of back up, he has to stop and back up because it's like, oh, I can't run into this guy. It's going to be a foul. You take him out of the play. Also, now because that guy's out of the play, the big has to step up because now Pritchard changes gears and moves forward, and the big's like, oh, crap. Here's somebody in the paint. Paint touch is always going to get attention. That big has to come up because he thinks Pritchard's going to hit a floater. And Pritchard just kind of floats it by the guy's hand to the left, and it ends up being not a shot, but an alley-oop to Keita, who finishes it. Awesome. Awesome point guarding. Awesome way to run the pick and roll. Payton Pritchard is legitimately in the rotation, legitimately in the top 8 or top 9, whatever the rotation is. And I think he's going to be really, really good for them in the regular season. And then we'll see how they use him in the postseason. Maybe there are matchups, or maybe he's gotten to a point where he transcends the matchup. That's also possible. I mentioned Jaylen Brown. Got to shout out Jaylen Brown for the 3/4 court shot. That was amazing. And then I have to mention before I move into the next segment, the possession with a couple minutes to go in the third quarter, where it's Pritchard, Shvi Mikhailuk, Sam Hauser, O'Shea Brissett, and Nemaesh Keita, and it's in transition, and they pass the ball like 6-7 times. Scal erupted on the broadcast. I erupted on Twitter. It's absolutely perfect basketball. Just drive, kick, swing, drive, kick, swing. The defense, I felt bad for the Hornets defense. I legitimately felt bad because it's like, there's no way you're keeping up with this play. That was the best play of the preseason. That's one of the best plays I've seen the Celtics run like in years. The way they ran that play, and none of the top 6 were involved. Horford took the night off, so none of the top 5 were involved. Just very encouraging that these guys were in such unison. And Sam Hauser floating around the top, presenting himself for, it's just unbelievable basketball. Unbelievable basketball. I'll wrap up just a couple of minor things. Something I didn't like. Scal mentioned it on the broadcast about the rebounding and the bigs minutes. I keep mentioning the Miles Keita. I'm not mentioning Luke Cornett for a reason, because Luke didn't play. I'll talk about all of that in just a moment. Today's show is brought to you by Jase Medical. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world today. There are drug shortages. And if something happens, if there's some sort of like natural disaster or some kind of event around you that can interrupt that supply chain, then you know what's going to happen. People are going to start hoarding the stuff that's available, and you have a chance at missing out if in case of an emergency. So Jase has you covered with the Jase case. Don't get caught unprepared. The Jase case gives you 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. All you've got to do is fill out a simple online form, maybe jump on a call with one of their board-certified physicians. They handle everything: the online evaluation, licensed pharmacy medication delivery, and ongoing care from their physicians on any treatment-related questions. And Jase Medical now offers customizability for your Jase case. With dozens of add-on medications, you can choose the medications that best fit you and your family's unique needs. Jase case is doctor created. It's doctor recommended. Go to jasemedical.com and enter code LOCKEDON at checkout for $20 off. It's a $20 discount at jasemedical.com with your promo code LOCKEDON, JASE medical.com. Use that promo code LOCKEDON and be prepared for anything. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. I want to thank all of you regular listeners. Hey, why not head over to the Locked On NBA feed? The Locked On NBA feed has you covered for the entire league. I host on Wednesdays generally, except when the Celtics play on Tuesday night. But I'm there with Jake Madison. Check out the Locked On NBA feed. Rotating hosts all week. It's just a fun look at the league, a great look at the league and all the big stories. Dislike. What did I dislike in this game? Not much to dislike. Honestly, like very little to dislike. Like I kind of have to nitpick a little bit. But the Celtics did give up 10 offensive rebounds. Now they had 16 of their own. They crashed the boards really, really well. But they gave up 2 offensive rebounds. This is the big issue. They gave up a couple to Terry Rozier. They gave up 1 to Gordon Hayward. They all were concentrated. They came from the corner. Scal was mentioning it in the broadcast. The corner crashes were just an issue. And look, it's something that I'm focused on. It's something that the Celtics should be focused on, and they are. It's something that we all should be focused on, because if there is a weakness, and no team is perfect. I just said that the Celtics are a should-win team when it comes to a championship. I wrote on Boston Sports Journal, this is a team that will go to the NBA Finals. I feel comfortable declaring that already here on October 20th, this Celtics team will go to the NBA Finals. I think they are that good, but they are not perfect. They are not perfect. No team in the NBA is. There's just the way the system is set up. No team is perfect. The Celtics do have their depth issues. They do have some issues with their size. So I think that if they're not rebounding the way they should be, or they're not putting enough emphasis on the rebounding, they have the potential to lose some winnable games. Now, it's October 20th. They have a long season. A lot of time is ahead of them to fix this problem. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to nitpick it when it comes up. there's always going to be an offensive rebound available. No team gets 0 offensive rebounds. There's always going to be a putback. There's always going to be some second chance points. But Boston can't make that their Achilles heel, because I think there's a growing emphasis on offensive rebounding. I think the way the floor is spread, I think teams understand there are opportunities to get in there and grab a couple of putbacks. So the Celtics just need to focus on that and correct it. It's just a correctable thing. So it's going to be a recurring thing. I'll talk about the rebounding many, many times this season. The other thing is the bigs minutes. That it's not a dislike. It's just a curious thing, because Luke Cornett didn't play, and it follows a game where Neemias Queta didn't play. And I feel like it was a double barrel kind of opportunity here. The Celtics had, and they did use their subs differently. They went to other guys in the first half. They had Queta in there. They had Delano Banton in there. They had O'Shea Brissett in there in the first half. It feels like the game against New York was an opportunity to play a certain group. And it was the regulars plus this group of bench players. And then this game in Charlotte was the regulars and this other group of bench players. Pritchard is a given. Hauser is a given. Now, Queta, I believe it's Luke Cornett's job to lose, but Queta goes in there and just balls out, man. He goes out there. He's got a nice touch around the rim. He's bigger. He's stronger. He can get in there and get some of those rebounds. He can block shots, which he blocked. Did he get? Nope, not in this game. Sorry. I looked at 2. I said 2. No, that's 2 turnovers. Sorry, Neemias Queta. That's and I'm also looking at the first half box score. So let's look at the entire box score, and it's still a 0. You got a long way to go to beat Derrick White, Neemias Queta. So please work towards that. No, he was really good. Like I said, he's got a nice touch. He had and one. He within a few feet of the rim. It seems like he can finish. So who knows? Who knows how it's going to go? I don't think the fact that Cornett sat in this game was indicative of anything other than it seemed like Joe Mazzulla was trying different combinations. The Charlotte game was an opportunity to use a few different guys, and the New York game was an opportunity to use a different group. So I think that's all it was. Now, they have a few days here in camp, and there are going to be some decisions. Queta, this is the real interesting decision. I'm going to wrap on this. Neemias Queta is on a 2-way deal. If he supplants Luke Cornett, then they might have to elevate him, which means one of the guys on the actual roster will have to go. And will it be Luke Cornett? I doubt it. I still doubt it. Even if he takes Cornett's minutes, I don't think that Cornett's just out, because you still need depth, and he's a good player to have in an emergency, just in case. So even if he loses out to Queta in a big man battle, I think he sticks around, which means, I don't know, does Wenyen Gabriel move? Does Lamar Stevens move? By the way, Lamar Stevens, what a vicious dunk. Oh my God. There was a period there in the fourth quarter where it was like just vicious dunk after vicious dunk. Stevens got one. Jordan Walsh got one. Jordan Walsh went for another one, which was incredibly ambitious. Oh my God. I admire the ambition and the just sheer killer instinct on going for that dunk, Jordan Walsh. But wow. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's something to watch. I don't think that it's imminent, but when you play well, and it's worth watching. And the Celtics have a lot of time, because he can play 50 games before they have to make a decision. If they want him in the playoffs, they have to convert him to a regular contract. So, but it's not something that needs to happen tomorrow. They can keep him and they can say, hey, look, we're going to make a 2-for-1 trade at some point, and that's going to open up a roster spot. And when it does, it's yours. He can play 40 minutes a game, and it doesn't matter on the two-way contract. Once the spot opens up, they can just wait for it to open up organically if they're going to make a deal and say, hey, you're going to be our big man insurance. We're going to use a TPE or something, or make a player trade to get in some, I don't know, backcourt help, wing help, whatever, and just go from there. So it's just something to look for. I'll be watching it. I'll try to figure it out. Of course, if anything happens, I'll have it for you here on the Locked On Celtics podcast. Love having you all here every day. Those of you who are here every Monday through Friday, shout out to you. Love you. The everydayers, you're great. If you're new, if you're still sticking around here at this point, why not hit that subscribe button? Subscribe so you get this show dropped directly to your device whenever I publish it. Again, Monday through Friday. No one is giving you Monday through Friday podcasts that are free, that are this in-depth, that involve someone who's there every day. That combination doesn't exist except here on the Locked On Celtics podcast. So make sure you're subscribed. And if you are one of those everyday listeners, I'd love it if you shared the podcast. Spread the word. Tell your friends. Tell everybody that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast. It's here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.